Hello, everybody. How are you? And welcome to Ascended Masters. And as always, thanks for hanging out with us today. So, our soul sister today, sharing her journey in life to help us in our journey called life, is CELINE O'Donovan. So, welcome, CELINE. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you very much, Jay. Delighted to
Yeah.
be here.
Well, I'm delighted you're here also. And you actually are going to share some experiences. And you actually wrote a really good book that I think is going to help a lot of people. Gifts from the Devastation, what cancer taught me about life. And what cancer taught me about life, I would assume that you're talking about yourself. Is that correct?
I absolutely am. Yes.
You absolutely are. Wow. So this is such a big thing that people have to go through. And, there's just so many emotions I can imagine that can go through there. And God bless you and, for sharing the story and also coming through on this one. But so tell us, first of all, a lot of people do have cancer. You've actually gone to the point of not only going through the healing process, but tell us what it did teach you about life.
How long have you got? But it's been an amazing journey, and I suppose what I will say to people is I specifically call the book Gifts from the Devastation because it really is relevant to any devastation in life. What I say to people is cancer was my devastation, my big breakdown. So, really, for someone who might be looking at this book and wondering if it is for them, I would say to you, if you're struggling in life right now, if you're going through a difficult challenge like cancer, if you're feeling empty, lost, without purpose, and you really want, that calling was there in me before cancer. Something was saying there has to be more to my life. This just isn't making sense to me anymore. So if you're feeling like that, I would just say to you, and you're ready to change, this is the book for you. And what I do, I suppose, in the book is I wrote it specifically because my devastation was cancer, as you said, and it was a roller coaster journey. And that is why I put the words gifts and devastation together. It may appear a little unsettling to someone at first, but what I would say is we all go through devastations in life. I don't know anyone who doesn't. And unfortunately, sometimes that's what we need to wake us up to something bigger, to break us open into who we really are and our gifts. And that's why I wrote this book, because that's what's happened for me. I went from being burnt out, just couldn't go on in life. I just felt there has to be more. And I had many wake up calls, and cancer happened to be the one that really got me to sit up and take notice. And as difficult as it was, it has changed me in ways that I cannot even describe. And I really want that for everyone else. I think we all want it in life. And it's why I write it very personally, very honestly. And my intention is to take the reader or the listener, because it's an audio book too, by the hand, step by step, through. It's written in three parts, through the my life before cancer, a typical life of very fast paced, the modern life that I think most people can relate to, the struggles, all of that, through the breakdown. So whatever your breakdown is, my breakdown was cancer. What's that like? What does it feel like? How, it really breaks you up. And so I just want people not to feel alone in any sort of struggle. And then I end in a very, I hope, uplifting way, which is all about how did I go on and create a life that I love? What were the steps that I took? And I have a very powerful tool that I work through with people as well, personally, about creating your life. So, what are all the aspects of your life that you can influence? We can't influence the outer world, but we can come back into our own power. And I hope I leave the reader in a very uplifting.
Well,
Um,
you wrote it, and that's a big step in itself. The fact that you've been able to put your journey into print here has got to take a lot of courage in itself, I would imagine, to be able to be honest about those real feelings, those real emotions that you went through. How long have you been in remission, or how long have you been, cleared, if
um,
you would?
Okay, I'm 6 years.
6 years. God bless
Yeah, just 6 years gone. So 5 years is usually, the five. I didn't really, I don't say I didn't really look at it in that way, but for me, it became a very mind, body, spirit journey. So I knew, and I'm not saying this is the case for everyone. I just can speak for myself because there were so many wake up calls and things not really sitting well with me. I knew from my nervous system, I knew from how I felt I was heading towards burnout. And I had just had a car accident a year before. So again, I would say to anyone watching, any of these little warning signs that we get, the universe is always trying to get us on track. That's the biggest message from this book, that I say to people, what if you were to look at your traumas, your devastations, your challenges? What if you were to look at them as happening for you? Now, that might be quite a challenging question to ask someone when you're in the midst of it. And I'm not suggesting that if you're in the midst of the trauma, which I was with cancer, you have to go through that. You have to experience it, you have to grieve, you have to honor it. But after that, what if you were to look at this as happening to get you on your path, to wake you up to who you are and your power, your spiritual power, and your gifts that you're here to share with the world. Um, and I say to everyone, that is my experience 1000%. And I guarantee you, I will really guarantee anyone, I haven't met anyone this hasn't been the case for. When you choose to, take that view that life is happening to get you on track and to work with it, you will be shown every step of the way, every step of the way. I still am. It's a process, and I often say that we all want quick answers. I had to go into that void, into that nothingness and take a leap of faith. I knew I couldn't go back and I knew I was ready. I just said, show me the way. Like I literally was ready and I call it breaking open. You break down, but you break open, and you break open from all the limitations, all the fears, and this is when you get into the juice or the essence of who you really are. And that's why I'm so passionate about this, because if it's available to me, I'm living proof of someone who struggled with many challenges in my life. Cancer wasn't the first, but this was the first one that really got me to wake up. So I'm so passionate about this topic, and I'm so passionate about wanting this for everyone, because this is why we're here, isn't it? This is why we're here. And
Looking
yeah.
at where you're at right now, Celine, and you can tell by the vibration and just chatting with you how much this has drawn you closer to your faith. And you think, looking back, hindsight, that your message to people, or maybe your advice to people as someone who's actually gone through it, you're not just writing it, you've actually gone through it, is that their connection with faith should probably start a lot earlier on? Do you think that needs to happen there, or is it just something that, hey, you just got to kind of go through your life journey and be prepared for these blocks, and when they do happen, is it more of a, like, when it happens, or is it like, hey, you can be preemptive with it?
Maybe a bit of both. I sort of feel in my own life, if I hadn't had all the struggles I had before I hit cancer, maybe I wouldn't have been able to adopt the attitude that I did, and I really believe we choose, this is my perspective anyways, that we choose before we came here. It's an evolutionary experience. I feel we're here to have joy and all of that, but we're also here to evolve and grow. And unfortunately, I don't know too many people who take that big growing spurt without some sort of an impetus. Nearly, it's like an impetus. If we can start to look at it in that way, this is something that's trying to really catapult you. I often describe it like, the trampoline. The lower you jump hard on the trampoline and you go down low, the higher you rise. And that has been the case. Now, I'm not saying that everybody has to go through that. I don't, maybe there are people who haven't, but I think, I think we go through a process of amnesia when we're born. And I think this is part of the life experience. This is the part of coming to earth. We know who we are, we forget, and then hopefully we awaken and remember in this lifetime. And I don't know that I think there's a divine timing as well. I think for me, cancer was when the light switch was put on, and then that started that process. But it was there. It was a calling. I always felt, even as a young child, a connection to something greater. But if you're not feeling that, that's okay. There's no right way. I think all I really want to do is to connect with we're all at different stages in our journey, so there's no right or wrong. And I was where other people are now, and there are other people further ahead than me, I'm sure, that I've so much to learn from. So really what I want to do is reach out and connect with the people who are ready, maybe a little bit afraid, and maybe a little bit uncertain, but they know it's time, and I would like to be the person who can take their hand and say, look, read my story, listen to my story, and you'll see that it's okay, and you'll see you'll be okay, and you'll be guided. So yeah, in answer, I think it may be, I hope it can preempt some people that if they're getting wake up calls and they're feeling something's off in life, that even just to start reflecting on that and start, our body, isn't it? Our body, I say that is our tool for truth. That's my attitude now. We have to come back into our body, and we come back into our body and feel it and trust it. This everything opens up, everything.
All
Um,
right. Well, listen, God bless you. And thank you for your dedication, for going beyond your own personal experience and really, gifting everybody else, with your journey on there. So I would just, again, who you are if you were having these devastations, and how to, and you need to take a look at a different perspective of it. We have the links in the description where you can purchase the book Gifts from the Devastation. I'm showing you an image here available on Amazon right now, so you all can get a vibe. So when you go to Amazon, you know exactly what it looks like. Yes. And also to her email list, Celine's email list is in there too, so you can stay connected with her, because in addition to this book, she's on this journey right now, so she's going to have some pretty cool, amazing stuff that's going to be happening. So this is definitely a soul sister that you want to stay connected with. So just do register for her email list and find out what's going on in her life that can help you in your life. So thank you again, Celine, for hanging out with me. I appreciate that, and thank you for sharing your story, and thank you everybody for hanging out with me also, and we will see you all next time. Much love. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jay.